Welcome to AZ English Fluency, where we guide you on your complete journey from A to Z. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Emily. Today, I am not here to give you a grammar lesson. Instead, I want to share a story with you. This is a slow listening practice designed to help you relax, to absorb English naturally, and to think about a very popular and powerful idea that is changing the way people live all over the world: the minimalist lifestyle. By the end of our story today, you will have achieved 3 important things. First, you will have practiced and improved your English listening comprehension in a calm and enjoyable way. There is no test here, just an invitation to listen. Second, you will have learned key vocabulary to talk about possessions, about lifestyle, and about the philosophy of minimalism. And third, you will have followed a story about the journey of living with less, only to find so much more. If you are ready to slow down, to take a deep breath, and to listen with intention, I invite you to subscribe to the channel now. Let's find some clarity together. Our story today is about a woman named Clara. Clara had a good job, a nice apartment in the city, and many, many things. If you were to open her closets, you would find them full of clothes she never wore. Some still had the price tags on them. Her shelves were heavy with books she intended to read one day, but that day never seemed to come. Her kitchen was filled with modern gadgets she had seen online, gadgets she bought with excitement but never used. On the outside, her life looked full. It looked successful. She had everything she was told she should want. But on the inside, Clara felt heavy. She had a growing feeling that her possessions were not serving her. Instead, she was serving them. She spent her weekends cleaning them, organizing them, dusting them, and worrying about them. She would buy new boxes and new shelves to organize the things she already owned. It felt like a job that was never finished. Her life was full of clutter, and her mind was cluttered too. It was difficult for her to focus. It was difficult for her to relax. She felt a constant low level of stress, like a quiet noise that was always in the background. One rainy Sunday afternoon, Clara was looking for an old photograph of her grandmother. She knew it was in a box somewhere in her spare room. She opened the first box. It was full of old university textbooks. She hadn't opened them in 10 years. She moved to the next box. It was full of souvenirs from holidays, small, broken things, tickets from museums she had visited, postcards she had never sent. She spent an hour looking through things she had not seen or even thought about in years. She found clothes that did not fit her anymore. She found gifts that she had never liked but felt too guilty to throw away. She never found the photograph she was looking for. And in that moment of frustration, surrounded by boxes of forgotten things, she sat on the floor and had a very clear thought. What if all of this was gone? What if I only kept the things that were truly useful or truly beautiful to me? The thought was a little scary, but it was also incredibly freeing. That evening, she went online and she read an article about something called minimalism. The idea was surprisingly simple. Live only with the things you truly need and the things you truly love. It was not about deprivation. It was not about having an empty, cold house. It was about making space. It was about removing the distractions so you could focus on what was truly important. It was about making space for a full life, not just a full house. The idea stayed with her, and for the first time in a long time, Clara felt a sense of hope and excitement. The next weekend, Clara began her journey. She knew she could not do everything at once. That would be too overwhelming. So she decided to start small. She started with one small drawer in her bedroom. The drawer was full of old electronics, broken headphones, and chargers for phones she no longer owned. She took everything out of the drawer and placed it on her bed. For each item, she asked herself 3 simple questions. The first question was, do I need this? The second question was, do I love this? And the third, most important question was, does this item support the life I want to live? Some things were easy to let go of. The broken headphones, the old chargers, she threw them away without a second thought. But some things were harder. She found a beautiful old watch that had stopped working years ago. She didn't need it, but did she love it? She remembered her father giving it to her. She decided to keep it, not to fix it, but to put it somewhere she could see it every day, like a small piece of art. This became her process. She discovered that she was holding on to many things, not because she needed them, but because of a memory, or a hope for a future self, or a fear. She had a dress that was too small, that she kept hoping to fit into one day. Letting go of the dress meant letting go of the pressure she put on herself. She had books she thought she should read to seem intelligent. Letting go of the books meant accepting who she really was. Letting go of the item often meant letting go of a piece of the past that was no longer serving her. Week by week, her apartment began to change. She went through her closet, her kitchen, her living room. She donated bags of clothes to charity. She gave books to her friends. She sold furniture she did not need. Her home became lighter. It became calmer. An amazing thing happened. So did Clara. With every bag of things she let go of, she felt a little bit of the weight in her own mind disappear. After a few months, Clara's life was completely different. The change on the outside was clear. Her apartment was spacious, tidy, and beautiful. It was a place she loved to come home to. But the biggest changes were the ones you could not see. With fewer things to clean and organize, she suddenly had more time on her weekends, hours of free time that she didn't have before. With fewer things to buy and want, she found that she had more money. She was able to save for a trip she had always dreamed of taking. But the biggest change of all was a feeling. It was a feeling of clarity and freedom. Her mind was no longer cluttered with a constant to-do list of things to manage and organize. She felt a deep sense of peace. Her apartment was no longer a museum of the person she used to be, or the person she thought she should be. It was a peaceful, functional, and beautiful space that supported the person she was now. She had space on her desk, so she started painting again, a hobby she had loved as a child, but had forgotten about for years. She invited friends over for dinner because she was no longer embarrassed by her clutter. Her relationships grew stronger. Her life was not empty. It was finally, truly full. Full of creativity, full of connection, full of peace. Clara's story shows us that minimalism is not really about what you remove from your life. It is about what you make space for. By letting go of the non-essential, she found time for her passions. She found space for her relationships. She found a deep and lasting sense of peace. This idea of less is more can also apply to our English learning journey. Sometimes we feel overwhelmed. We think we need to learn 1,000 new words every day. We think we need to study for hours and hours. But perhaps a minimalist approach is better. We don't need to learn everything at once. We just need to consistently practice the most essential words and phrases. Clarity is more important than quantity. A calm, focused 15 minutes of practice every day is much more powerful than a stressful, overwhelming 3-hour session once a week. And now, as we finish our story, I have a gentle question for you to reflect on. Think of one small area in your own life. It could be your desk. It could be the apps on your phone. It could even be your busy schedule. Where could a little bit of minimalism bring you more peace? You don't have to change everything at once. Just like Clara, you can start with one small drawer. What is one small step you could take? If you feel comfortable, I invite you to share that first small step in the comments below. Let's inspire each other to find more clarity and more space in our lives. Thank you for sharing this quiet time with me today. I hope you enjoyed our slow, story-based practice. If you did, please make sure you are subscribed to AZ English Fluency, where we will continue to guide you on your complete journey from A to Z. Until next time, be intentional and happy learning.